What if I told you that rising oil prices aren't just affecting the cost of gas? They're affecting your sex life. Yeah, that sounds crazy at first, but right now, one of the world's largest condom manufacturers has warned that prices could rise by 20 to 30% globally. Yeah, globally. And it's not just because of demand alone. Eh, it could be, but it's because of oil. So today we're breaking down something nobody's really talking about: how global economics, supply chains, and rising oil prices are starting to impact intimacy, dating, and relationships in real life. Yeah. All this thing about the oil prices, that gas prices are going to come down, they're affecting sex lives. It really is. The world's largest condom producer, Carex, which manufactures billions of units every year, has warned that prices are going to go up significantly. We're talking 20 to 30% price increase globally. Some markets are already seeing a 30% plus in retail jumps, demand rising by roughly 30% at the same time. Now, think about that for a moment. Now, really, think about it. Demand is going up. I know, make jokes, it's about condoms. Supply is getting tighter, still more jokes, and prices are rising fast. That's the perfect storm. And it's not just one company, this is a global supply chain issue. So the next question is obvious: why would oil prices affect condoms? Well, here's where things get interesting. Most people think condoms are just rubber. That's what they're called, rubbers. But it's more complicated than that. Condoms are made using natural latex, synthetic rubber, lubricants, and chemical stabilizers. And many of these materials are directly tied to petrochemicals, which come from oil and gas. So when oil prices rise, raw material costs go up. Manufacturing becomes more expensive. Transportation costs increase. Shipping slows down. And suddenly, something as simple as a condom becomes part of a global economic ripple effect. In fact, some manufacturers have said that certain input costs have doubled in recent months. So this isn't just inflation. This is supply chain pressure meeting essential goods. So look at what's here. Crude oil prices up 18% year over year. Synthetic rubber costs up 35 to 40% due to the rising oil prices. Shipping costs up 30 to 60%. Some raw materials input costs have doubled in recent months. The result? Higher production plus transportation costs equal higher prices for you. It's really that damn simple. So yes, your sex life, if this is something that you require, is being impacted. So let's go and let's just look at it. Let's zoom out of all this. Dating today is already expensive. Going out to eat, more expensive. Drinks, more expensive. Transportation, more expensive. People are already talking about something called date inflation. Now, layer on top of this, protection is getting more expensive too. Yeah. So what happens? We start seeing behavioral shifts. Some people may go out less, delay relationships, spend less on dating overall. Others, they might take a different twist. They may take more risks, skip protection due to cost, or change how often they're intimate. But consider this. Date inflation. 52% of daters say rising prices are making dating too expensive. Younger generations were already dating less. 46% of Gen Z say they are dating less due to the cost of living. Intimacy is declining. 1 in 4 adults under 30 say they had no sex in the past year. Damn. Risk increase. 20% say they skipped protection due to the cost at least once. Less dating equals less spending. 30% of young adults say they spend less money on dating than they did 2 years ago. The one stat in there that bothers me is that they're skipping protection. What kind of STDs are being spread? How many children are going to be born because someone can't afford to buy a condom? It becomes a public health conversation because when essential products get more expensive, people don't always just pay more. Sometimes they just opt out. So this just isn't happening in one country. That's the thing. It's not only happening in the US. It's happening around the world. There is a global ripple effect. In places like China, conversations are already happening around rising prices, potential shortages, even stockpiling behavior. Imagine that. People are having to stockpile condoms because the prices are getting too high. Some regions are dealing with it a little differently. Import costs, taxes on contraceptives, limited access in public health programs, and developing countries, this can have way serious consequences. Reduce access to contraception, increase risk of unplanned pregnancy, strain on already limited healthcare systems. Developing countries, 1.5 billion plus people rely on modern contraceptives for family planning. Shortages could lead up to 15 million additional unplanned pregnancies by 2030. Reduced access could increase health costs by 1.4 billion annually in low and middle income countries. Contraceptive supply distribution affects 36 countries already facing stockouts. 36 countries already are running low or out of condoms. Now, think about that. They are low or out of condoms. When did you ever think that was going to be an issue? But here's the part that really makes you think. We usually talk about inflation like it only affects rent, gas, groceries. But this is different. This is inflation reaching into one of the most personal areas in human life. Relationships, intimacies, human connection. And it shows something important. Economics just don't shape markets, it shapes behavior. It shapes when people date, how people connect, even how families are formed. Look at this. Financial stress reduces intimacy. 40% of adults say financial stress negatively affects their sex life. Young people are having less sex. 15% of 18 to 34-year-olds had sex in the past year, down from 23% in 2010. Rising costs lead to fewer dates. 53% of adults say inflation has made them go on fewer dates. Financial pressures, delaying milestones. 39% of young adults delaying marriage or having kids due to cost of living. And stress. If you can't have, stress and money problems hurt relationships. 37% of couples say money problems have hurt the quality of their relationship. So the next time you hear about oil prices going up, there may not be something else going up along with that. So just remember, it's not just about what you pay at the pump. It's about how global system connects in ways we don't always see. And sometimes those connections reach all the way into your personal life. Yeah. If you found this interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're breaking down the stories that nobody else is connecting. And as I keep saying, see you soon. But there's always something coming because, my God, this is never ending. Thanks for watching. See you soon.